Good evening, citizens. Welcome to Neusatz, a town shaped by the river's curve and the fortress's shadow, where cannon smoke still lingers in cellar stones and history murmurs beneath every cobblestone. In each episode, we pull back the veil and unearth a forgotten story from the town that once was. Tonight, we climb the ramparts of Petrovaradin, where limestone teeth bite into the Danube and tunnels spiral like veins into the earth. Here, in the summer of 1716, two empires met in fire and fury. Ottoman Crescent against Habsburg Eagle, with Prince Eugene's silence coiled like a spring beneath the banners. The ground remembers the blood, the citadel remembers the roar, and the city, our city, was born in the shadow of that day. Join us as we walk the ramparts at dawn and listen for hoofbeats in the mist. This is the story of the battle that carved a border into the spine of Europe.
In the hush before thunder, the city holds its breath. Tonight, we descend into the marrow of Petrovaradin Fortress, to the August morning when the Danube ran red and the world's borders shifted in blood. But before the cannons, before the charge, there was a silence born of treaties and broken promises. The Treaty of Karlowitz, signed in 1699, was meant to end the Great Turkish War. It did, on paper. Austria took Hungary and Transylvania. The Ottomans retreated, but neither side was satisfied. The ink was barely dry before old wounds began to itch. Sultan Ahmed III, ruler of a realm stretching from the Bosphorus to the deserts, could not accept the loss. And in the shadows of Topkapi Palace, one voice grew sharper than the rest. Siladar Damat Ali Pasha. Ambitious, vengeful, and stung by personal loss, he'd lost the Morea to Venice. Ali Pasha was determined to reclaim what he saw as rightfully Ottoman. In 1715, the Ottomans swept through the Morea, toppling Venetian strongholds in a storm of fire and steel. Venice, desperate, called on Austria for help. Emperor Charles VI hesitated. He'd just finished the War of Spanish Succession after all. But Prince Eugene of Savoy, Austria's sword and shadow, would not let the moment pass. "We will attack," he said, and with that, the die was cast. War was declared in 1716. Prince Eugene, where do I begin? A veteran of Zenta, a strategist of steel, a man who'd made a habit of turning disaster into legend. His name alone was enough to make the Danube shiver. And so, as the storm gathered, the stage was set for a reckoning beneath the walls of Petrovaradin. The summer of 1716. Imagine it. The air thick with the scent of gunpowder and sweat. The Danube swollen with the promise of violence. From Belgrade, the Ottoman host surged north. Some say 120,000. Others whisper 150,000. Janissaries in crimson, Sipahi cavalry gleaming, Tatars wild-eyed, artillery rumbling. Their target was clear: Petrovaradin Fortress, the so-called Gibraltar of the Danube, the keystone of Habsburg defense. If Petrovaradin fell, the road to Vienna would lie open. On the other side, Prince Eugene gathered his patchwork army: Austrians, Hungarians, Serbs, Croats, and more. 65,000 men, give or take, dug in around the citadel, ringed by fresh trenches and earthworks. The fortress itself, perched on a rocky escarpment, was a marvel of military engineering, star-shaped, bristling with bastions, its tunnels and galleries burrowing deep into the limestone. We spoke of its haunted corridors in a previous episode, but tonight, those stones are alive with the tramp of boots and the rattle of muskets. Eugene's plan was as audacious as it was simple. He would not cower behind walls. No, he would use the fortress as bait, A trap to be sprung, not a shell to hide it. Outnumbered, yes, but not outwitted. His men, though weary, trusted him. The psychological edge was his. The Ottomans expected a siege, but Eugene was preparing a killing blow. The night before battle, the city must have felt like the world's heart, beating faster and faster, waiting for the storm to break. And then, dawn. August 5th, 1716. The mist clings to the fields. The Danube glimmers like a blade. At first light, Prince Alexander von Württemberg's infantry surge forward, wolves from the fog, slamming into the Ottoman trenches. The effect is chaos. Panic blooms. Trenches are overrun, and behind them, cuirassiers and hussars ride like thunder, sabers flashing, steel reaping. But the Ottomans are not so easily broken. The Janissaries, resplendent in red and white, regroup and countercharge with a fury that shakes the earth. Their Meta band howls over the field, zurnas shrieking, drums pounding a death march. In the center, Count von Heister's infantry buckle. Imperial banners fall. For a moment, it seems the heart of Eugene's line will be swallowed whole. Here, Eugene's genius shines. He rushes his reserve cavalry to the flanks. Cuirassiers in blackened steel, hussars in their wild garb, closing in from both sides. The fortress's great guns roar, vomiting fire into Ottoman ranks. Eugene himself, white-plumed and blood-flecked, gallops along the line, rallying his men, sword drawn, voice hoarse with command. On the flanks, Württemberg and Ebergenyi's horsemen sweep inward, slicing into the Ottoman sides. The trap snaps shut. Surrounded, the Ottoman formations begin to collapse. Panic spreads. Eugene, never one to shy from the thick of it, leads the decisive assault himself, grabbing fleeing infantry, turning them back to the fight. The field is a maelstrom of smoke, blood, and thunder. By late morning, the Ottoman line is broken, and the rout begins. In the midst of ruin, Grand Vizier Ali Pasha stands beneath the sacred green banner, refusing to flee. He leads a last, desperate charge, saber in hand, eyes fixed on the advancing Austrians. It is a noble, doomed gesture. A musket ball finds him, and he falls, carried away by loyalists. Some say he died on the field, others that the Sultan, enraged by defeat, ordered his strangulation in disgrace. Either way, the end is the same. The architect of Ottoman ambition lies broken, his army in shambles. With Ali Pasha's fall, the Ottoman line collapses. Panic becomes a flood. Austrian cavalry pursue the fleeing remnants, sabers flashing crimson. The field is littered with the dead. Ottoman casualties near 20,000, while the Austrians lose around 5,000. The cost is terrible, the victory total. In the Grand Vizier's splendid tent, Eugene's men find horrors. 200 Austrian prisoners, butchered, among them Count Brunner, beheaded, chained, left as a warning. The Austrians answer with vengeance. No quarter is given. Blood begets blood. The Danube, silent as ever, bears witness to the carnage. By noon, the battle is over. The spoils are legendary. 172 cannons, 156 banners, 5 horsetail standards, and treasure enough to make every soldier rich. The Grand Vizier's tent, once a symbol of Ottoman power, is now a trophy of defeat. Eugene wastes no time. He presses on, taking Temesvar, and the following year, Belgrade itself falls after another brutal siege. The Habsburgs are now masters of the Danube. The Treaty of Passarowitz, signed in 1718, redraws the map. Austria gains the Banat, northern Serbia, Oltenia, and Belgrade. Venice, for all its pleas, loses the Morea. The Ottomans, chastened, turn inward. The Tulip era begins, a time of peace, poetry, and pleasure, born from the ashes of defeat. But for Central Europe, the Ottoman threat is broken. Never again will Turkish banners fly so far north. Petrovaradin becomes the symbol of resistance, of victory, of the price paid for peace. Prince Eugene's reputation soars. He is immortalized in marble, music, and myth. The fortress, its stones soaked in memory, stands watch over the Danube still. And Neusatz grows in its shadow, a city born of war. The Danube flows on, indifferent, past the bones of kings and sultans. The echoes of that August morning linger in the tunnels and alleys, in the hush before thunder. And so, as we close tonight's procession, remember, the city speaks, if you know how to listen. Until next time, citizens, step into the fog and let the stones tell their tale.
Thank you for listening to another episode. Stay tuned for more forgotten stories, hidden places, and voices that time tried to silence. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your steps quiet. And remember, you are not welcome here.